It has officially been 1 week since the W season started. In that week, the Indiana Fever has played 4 games and now sit at last place with a 0-4 record. Even though they haven't won a game yet, they look better after each one. In this video, I want to go over how many games I think the Fever can win this season, and also some of the things that's contributed to why they struggled so much. This is their schedule for the season. I initially thought they would win half their games, which is 20. Now, after watching them play, I think they will win between 11 and 19 of their games. The green check is the 11 games I think they will win. The red question mark is the 8 games I think they can win if they play them right. This was their records the last 4 years. They were 6-16, then they were 6-26. Then they were 5-31. Then they got their first number 1 draft pick ever in Aaliyah Boston, and they won 8 more games the very next season for a 13-27 record. And 16 out of the 27 games that they didn't win, they only lost by 9 points or less. What that means is for a team to be so young and inexperienced and quote-unquote trash, they only lost 11 of their 40 games by 10 or more points. So I figured with the addition of a dynamic player like Caitlin Clark, they would at least get to 20 wins this year. But they dealing with a few hurdles and growing pains. And not only that, but a bunch of the teams have gotten better, either by picking up a good veteran piece or by having another year to build chemistry. Every team with the green check has gotten better from last year. The Aces won back-to-back championships. They are the best team in the WNBA. Their only flaw was their bench, and the bench is 100 times better than it was last year. The only hurdle they have right now is they have the number 1 point guard in the WNBA still out from an injury she got last season in the championship. New York was a good team last year. They played the Aces in the championship. Last year, New York picked up 2 MVPs, Stewie and JJ, and one of the best point guards in the league, and put them on a team together with a good shooter in Ionescu and a great defensive player in Benaja. And now here they are a year later with more chemistry. Gonna be a good season for them. Connecticut finally has a healthy big 3 with Brianna AT and DB, and a better Dejanay with a good shooting point guard in Ty Harris and some dogs on the bench. Woo! Atlanta has a good core 3 that gets some buckets, and they picked up a great point guard and a veteran Hall of Fame center. Minnesota is surprising me. I didn't have them as a contender in the beginning of the season, but they definitely are. They picked up some dogs in the offseason and got rid of some pieces that weren't helping. Seattle was decent last year. Got a lot better in the offseason when they picked up the big 3, Skylar and Necker, to go with Jewel. And they have a good supporting cast. They will be a championship contender if they can gel in time. Right now, they're struggling. Phoenix was super trash last year, came in last place in the standings. They pick up a top point guard in Cloud and a top dog in Khalil Copper, and they got a few other good pieces. Will be a top 5 team when BG comes back. Actually, scratch that. They look so good right now. They might be a top 3 team when BG comes back from her injury. As long as all the strong personalities they have continue to be able to coexist. Yes, Indiana is also one of the teams that have gotten better from last year, but they are also the youngest, the most inexperienced, and they don't have enough veteran leadership on their squad. They have 2 veterans, Kelsey Mitchell and Erica Wheeler. The other one, Demiris Dantas, is brand new to the team and temporarily suspended right now. So yes, the Fever's gonna have a long uphill battle to try to get to 20 wins. This was everyone's standing from last year. Only 4 teams cracked 20 wins. But like I said before, a bunch of these teams are so much better this year. So it's going to get very interesting to see how it all pans out. So not only did most of the WNBA teams get better this year, and not only is Indiana the most inexperienced team, then you have to add on the fact that this is an Olympic year. So the WNBA is going to take a break from July the 21st to August the 14th. So because they are going to take a damn near month-long break in the middle of the season, their schedule has to be jam-packed in order to get 40 games in and a championship done before the NBA season start back up. This is Indiana's May schedule. They play pretty much every other day. Once you add in the traveling with that leaves very little, if any, time left to practice. To add insult to injury, in this first month, the Indiana Fever played Connecticut twice, New York twice, Las Vegas once, and a new super team, Seattle, twice. So 5 of their first 9 games is from the top 3 teams in the league. And that'll be 7 of their first 9 games if Seattle start clicking before they play them. Starting the season off like this is brutal and unfair. That also means the schedule will get easier as time go on because they would have already played all of the top teams. And also by getting beat up by those top teams right now, is teaching them a whole lot. So by the time they get to the end of the season, they're going to be real good. They're going to have a lot of stuff figured out because of how brutal it was for them in the beginning. And of course, that is all contingent on if the team stays motivated and connected and eager to learn and grow. I've been seeing a lot of bad talk about their coach, a lot of bad talk about some of the players on the team. And I just think it's unfair. It's too soon. You have to give them time. They have a lot to figure out. They need time and they need this experience to grow. Let's listen to Coach Christie give some insight and talk about some of the growing pains and things they are trying to work on.
We don't have any practice time to go fix this right now. So we've just got to figure out, we just have to get better, more mentally tough.
So Chloe, then we'll go Cassandra next.
Aaliyah talked about, going up against veteran teams like the Sun and New York. Just how much of it is a process to, get chemistry, especially with a young team and 2 new starters?
Yeah, it's a process, but there's a level that you have to, when it just gets too much, when people are just continuing to punch you, we've got to figure out how to stop them and give it right back to them. And we just we're not matching that. We're not matching that level.
Sandra, then we'll go Scott.
You said the other day the schedule is unbelievable. It's unkind. What kind of small wins or goals are you looking for within this stretch of the schedule from your team? Especially, you talked a lot about that mental toughness part.
Yeah, I just, we missed a lot of easy shots around the bucket tonight. I think that plays into how we go down and play defense at times. That's mental toughness. We've just got to get an attitude a little bit when people score on us. You just can't let it be so easy and let them just get, do what they want to do on us. It all goes back to just having a little bit of fight, passion, toughness. We've got to get stops. We've got to find a way. They've got to have a little bit more pride, and we've got to get stops so we can do what we're really good at. Again, I can't say it enough. I've got to find 5 that'll get out there and defend without fouling, and just be able to stop somebody so we can get out and run and do what we do on offense.
Whether it's Caitlin or any other rookie, how tricky is it to have someone be such a big focus of your offense when they've been in your building for less than a month?
That's the WNBA, and that's what we deal with, and, she's a high-volume scorer, shooter. She's our point guard. So now our players who have been here, it takes time to get used to how she plays. It takes time for her to get used to how they play. It's just a process.
And this brings me on to Aaliyah. I've heard the rumblings. I've seen the tweets. Nasty, nasty stuff. She was the number 1 draft pick for a reason. She's one of 8 rookies to start in the WNBA All-Star game. and the third youngest to start in the All-Star game as a rookie. She has struggled so far this year, we get it. There's two major things that have contributed to that. She spent her first off-season ever as a studio commentator for Big Ten women's basketball. So instead of playing basketball all winter like normally, she was training while also being a basketball analyst. And we all know training don't get you right like actual games will. That's a big reason a lot of people go overseas in the winter, to stay game ready and, of course, for the money. The second thing that happened is Caitlin Clark. She joined the team. She is a superstar that brings a lot of attention, and she plays a whole different way. A young, inexperienced squad like Indiana needs way longer than the 2-week training camp gives you to adjust. They will be fine. Just give them time. Let's look at the track record of teams that got back-to-back number one WNBA draft picks. Every team that got 2 number one draft picks in a row won a championship 2 or 3 years later. The future is looking real bright in Indy.